Hello YouTube, it's Accurate. So I bought a bass. Let's just start with that. I bought a bass guitar without really knowing what I'm getting myself into.
Accurate beats.
I love my synthesizers and my samplers and my records, and I'm still gonna make sample-based boom bap beats. That's for sure. That's just what I do. However, I've thought about getting a bass for a while now. I asked people on Instagram to help me out whether I should get a P-Bass or a jazz bass, and people couldn't really make up their mind, so things just didn't happen at all. Not until just a few days ago when I went into Tom's website to get some cables for the studio, I just stumbled upon this DIY kit and I thought to myself it could be cool to have some sort of project that's not just making videos or beats. A little bit more hands-on, you know? And I mean, seriously, for $100 I could just get something that maybe sucks a little bit. That's fine. And now I have this on my hands. It's a P-Bass type of bass, I guess. And apparently I need to do something about the headstock here because it looks like this. And I guess that normally for people that buys stuff like this, that know what they're doing, tend to put a little bit of work into their instrument, like cutting the headstock to a shape that looks a little bit more normal than this. You sand the body and you paint it and you coat it with something and you make it look all nice and pretty, but I kind of like this aesthetic myself. I kind of do. I know someone has already told me that I need to do something about the finish to not make the wood like change or adapt or become worse of the humidity or whatever.
Accurate beats.
And by the way, subscribe if you want to. So I guess I'm gonna do something about that. I'm gonna do something about that. And well, I'm gonna make something out of this that's a little bit nicer than what it is right now. But I just couldn't help myself to just put it together the first night I had it and just play around a little bit, you know? I know that I might come off as a little bit ignorant here because I don't know much about bass guitars or whatever, and I'm this music producer, beatmaker type of person that makes beats and videos all the time. I talk about music technology and all that stuff, but this is really far away from my normal territory. It's kind of funny when you think about it in one way, because I'm in Sweden, right? I'm born and raised here, and I started to make music a long time ago, before like technology and computers and music were like one and the same thing. This is a while ago, and we're also talking about this small little city in Sweden. However, making hip-hop and making beats and stuff like that wasn't really something that your local music store knew much about at all. They knew a lot about guitars and basses and drum kits, though. Pretty early on I developed this kind of hatred towards rock music and guitars and basses and, you know, playing in bands and being inspired by AC/DC and Metallica and whatever. I was really deep into hip-hop. I wanted to know how to rap and how to write lyrics and how to make beats and how to record hip-hop. And people in my local music store and whatnot didn't really know much about this. So guitars and basses were the big thing, and I felt like that wasn't really for me. And ever since then I've had this feeling that I shouldn't get into these things because it's too complicated or it's not producing the sounds that I like or whatever. But I've also had jobs with kids in school or in preschool, and I learned how to play the guitar, you know, well enough to be able to sing a few children's songs and playing the guitar to them. But that's kind of where it has stopped, you know? And with that said, I'm not ready to jump head forward and just get myself a really nice, proper instrument that costs like $1,000 or more than that. I'm just not ready to do that type of commitment. So instead I bought this one and put it together, and you know, it makes sounds, but it's not gonna hold up for long because it's really cheap, and again I need to do something about this and I need to do something about that, and I think I should kind of replace the pickups or be ready to do that whenever they kind of don't work anymore. But for someone who really don't know much about this, it is what it is. It's kind of cool for what it is. I guess it's a really crappy instrument to someone who knows their stuff, but to me right now, this kind of serves a purpose, you know? My only plan for this instrument is to make me feel a little bit less scared of stuff like this. I know my way around music production, and I think I'm pretty good at what I'm doing to a certain extent, but honestly, I'm also kind of afraid of traditional music stuff like this. I put it together like 2 days ago, and since then I've tried to use it a little bit here in the studio. I recorded a little video clip with me just playing some keys and some drums on the machine and just adding a bass line from the bass into my Logic setup. It's nothing special, it's nothing super amazing, it's just me pretty much playing a bass guitar for the first time ever. I've held one a few times before, but I've never really tried to play anything, and here I kind of did. So let's play that clip right now. Yeah, well, it is what it is. I think it came out kinda okay. Sure, it doesn't sound really as good as one of my best VST instruments for electric bass, but it adds something different and it's a lot of fun to play. I'm not sure I'm gonna play a lot of bass in the future, but at least now I have some way to do it. I know I'm not using the right fingers for the right things, and it would probably be easier if I actually learned how to play it. But in this case, this way, I can actually use it for production. A big part of making beats the way I make beats has to do with editing. Playing stuff in manually is cool and all, and I do that all the time with machine, but if I need to do something a little bit more intricate, I'm always ready to get into the editing of things and just, you know, dig deeper into the editing and just spend time there. I guess that's what I'm gonna have to do here, but I don't think that's a bad thing. But I mean, just to be able to record what you just heard, I had to use the tuner in my DAW to know what notes I was playing and trying to figure out what the bass line should be on a keyboard before I got it here. But still, it's fun. And I know that I have a lot of musicians watching my channel, and maybe people will be offended by me trying to do this, but you know, it is what it is. And I'm trying to reach out here a little bit. If anyone has any like real concrete tips on how to go about like cutting the head shell and how to finish the body without having it too shiny or whatever, I appreciate all the help I could get. Just write me in the comment section, I would appreciate that help. Maybe I should also add that if this whole thing of playing bass becomes beneficial to my creative process, if it turns out okay in the tracks, or if it's just fun enough, of course I'm gonna invest in a more high quality instrument than this. This is just my first little way of dipping my toes into what a bass guitar could bring to the table. I have another video clip too where I just tried to play the bass on one of my older beats. I just took the bass line out of there and tried to replace it with this one. It didn't came out as good as the first example, but you know, I got some notes wrong and whatever. But I recorded it, so let's just put it here. I'm not gonna try to go any deeper into this and make a review video or something about this bass guitar kit, because I'm just obviously not the right person to do that. And again, it is what it is. I guess what I'm trying to do here is just to show it off and talk a little bit about my thought process behind this kind of odd purchase for someone like me. Basically, the point I'm trying to make here is that you don't have to be afraid of anything when it comes to creativity. There's not necessarily a right or a wrong way to do anything. I could make beats here in my home studio using, you know, toy keyboards for like 20 bucks and make it sound cool enough to be able to use for whatever I use instruments for. And I have this kind of advanced home studio setup with a bunch of synthesizers, both analog and digital. I have a bunch of different samplers and, you know, a lot of stuff like that. And honestly, I think I kind of know my way around most of the stuff that I have here. But then when I want something different, I'm just buying a bass guitar. And music production, beat making, or whatever you want to call it, shouldn't be this difficult thing to get into. And for someone like me who kind of has an audience on YouTube, sure, I'm playing a bass on the channel. It's not the end of the world. What could happen? So if you ever feel like anything feels a bit out of your reach because you don't just have the knowledge, I would just say stop thinking like that. Just get into whatever you want to get into and just give it a try. The worst thing that could happen is that it doesn't sound good, or it doesn't work for your process. And that's, again, not the end of the world. So even though this video was a little bit out of context for the different stuff on my channel, it's fine. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's a lot of that quote in this video, I guess. Of course, I'm not going to make a lot of videos about this bass instrument or any other bass instrument for that matter. I'm going to keep making videos about the stuff that I actually know something about. Beats, beat making, maybe mixing and finger drumming and arranging and that sort of stuff. Maybe some gear reviews of synths and stuff in the future as well. Who knows? And I think that's it. Yeah. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope to see you guys in the next one. And until then, ha det gott.
Accurate beats.